So there's, on this side, I couldn't find this flake that was right there on the tip, but this is one overshot here. And there's that side, and you can see like this was a huge overshot on the, to kind of I kind of took that off, and it determined where my tip was going to be, and excuse me. And this side, that's an overshot, or actually that was a full-length flake. This is the overshot off the tip. There's that one, and that one. It's gonna hit right here and take a flake over here, but I haven't had much success in this session, and and I didn't have the confidence, and I should have cleaned back towards this hinge, because I knew that if it spread out it would hit this hinge, and that's what it did. I got a nice flake, and it was an overshot, but it hit right here, and I'm lucky that didn't take off this whole corner. Struck right there. This feels like it's going to overshoot too much, probably because I have the platform too low. But I'm going to strike it and see if I can get an overshot across there. Gonna hit this lower platform, and really I just I wouldn't mind an overshot, but I don't want it to take too much out. It has to be perfect. I just want it to go from there to there, just barely. There's my overshot. That was, I couldn't have asked for a better flake. I was hoping to minimal get a full-length flake, or just barely an overshot, so I could maintain the Clovis shape, and I got it. I see it tried to rise up right here. That's where the flake broke. I didn't show the strike on that, but I set up one right there, and it just took the other edge off. Hit right there. Across this little ridge might be a problem. A ridge did cause it to creep up a little, but I can live with that. Alright, I'm gonna call this as best I can do at my experience level so far. There's some big flakes, 4 big flakes on this side, and 1 humongous flake on this side. An early overshot that took the other edge, and there's where you can see the remnant of the overshot. I'm getting ready to flute it now. I'll use the ivory punch to flute it with. Alright, here it is, fluted. Got a little, I don't really want it any wider than that. This one is a little too wide. There was I don't know if you remember, in the base of this there was a bunch of concrete like this, and it was all across the base, and it was real tough, and I made a platform strong to try to get through it, and it was strong alright. It's a little wide. That really surprised me, and then I fluted that side, and I didn't expect it to go that far because this right in here was really flat, and where this overshot is, that's just, I can't believe it went that far. Overall, I'm semi-happy with it. There is, you can see remnants of 3 overshots on this side, and of course there's this great big overshot here, and there's actually one across the base. If you look right here, you can see where it rolled over from this side going this way, and I tried to leave that on there too. And also it's a little asymmetrical. It's a little wider in here than I'd like it to be in symmetry anyway, but you know, there's not very many of the Clovises that had symmetry, obviously, because of the nub sticking out, and I don't want to bring in this area right now because I would be wasting it. There's the thick edge right here, so eventually I'd, you know, as I rework this piece, I'd be able to take a flake right across this ridge because of that thick area, and here too. I just don't see any reason in doing that right now. I don't think that they would have done it. I think that they would have only done that as they needed to. So I just have to live with it, and I don't mind living with it. Okay. After the last 2 or 3 weeks of experimentation, my synopsis generally is just that I do think that a lot of the Clovis stuff were made using hammerstones, the overshots, and then, but I don't discount that a flint knapper would have as many tools in his kit to get the job done. I find it difficult to believe that that they only had a very small quantity of tools in their toolkit. And what I'm getting at is that maybe in a lot of the early stages, when there's some thickness, then hammerstone might be more applicable than punches per se. But I'm not saying that you can't do the whole thing with punches, because I do believe that you can. I've done some preliminary testing using antler direct percussion and tried just on one biface that I had, and set up 4 platforms and got 4 overshots in a row using antler direct percussion. So I guess, like I say, what I'm getting at is maybe, hypothetically, this Clovis could have been made using a punch, or could have used a hammerstone. But when they got to this length and thickness with a hammerstone, it's hard to take really thin flakes without them breaking. And some of this rework, you know, with a punch you can take a lot thinner flake, and these aren't these rework flakes on here aren't overshots. They're full length flakes with nice blending. So that could have been a way for them to try to get even more use out of the tool when it gets to this stage, is to take thinner flakes. These massive ones remove too much material. As a flint knapper who tries to replicate using toolkits for the time and culture, I feel that I shouldn't have to explain myself about why there's asymmetrical properties in some of this Clovis work that I've done, and there's irregularities and uneven edges, but I guess, you know, I probably should explain that, because some people aren't gonna, they're gonna look at this and think, wow, that looks ugly, look how he left this sticking out there. He could have taken that down if he wanted to, or is he just a horrible napper, or what? But I want to show you some of the stuff that I've made that I kind of like, and a lot of it isn't here. This is all that I have that's here at this point, but this is an abo Clovis that I made. Well, it's actually the first real attempt at an abo Clovis once I switched to abo. You know, and these are refined. They do have refined edges. I did try to make them somewhat artsy, and some I tried to replicate as accurately as possible at the same time. This is a blade I made out of some raw Burlington, and it's all hammerstone, every single flake. And so the point I'm trying to make is that if I wanted to refine these edges and thicknesses and contours and everything to make a perfect looking point, then I would be defeating the purpose of this project, because they didn't do that. It's obvious that they didn't do that when you look at what came from the site. So that was my goal, was to try to replicate this, and not necessarily putting the nubs on there where I thought they should go, but letting them end up on there where it's going to benefit me in the future when I decide to rework it. I hope that this little project of mine has maybe, I don't know, opened a few eyes, or will maybe motivate others to try to do what I have done and what others have done and are continually try to do. And if we had more people that were using Aboriginal techniques and tools to try to replicate, we could probably learn a whole lot more about the art. And I think it would be more gratifying to us if we chose to do that instead. So hopefully this video doesn't step on anyone's toes, and that this wasn't a waste of time, and that there's some useful information here. So I think I've achieved what I wanted to achieve, and now I work on refining my techniques. And I'd like to say that nothing here is absolute, is set in stone. It's not the way that it was done. It's just one idea that I have.